The Red Dirt D&D podcast is brought to you by Pro Laser Cuts. The Oklahoma company provides pre-made and customizable design laser cut dice towers, tokens, and more, developed by a gamer for gamers, and now available to enhance your tabletop game. Pro Laser Cuts products can be found at many Oklahoma City area game stores, local events, and now available online at prolasercuts.com. That's laser and cuts with a Z, Pro Laser Cuts. And by SD Way Gaming, where dice goblins unite. Our friends at SD Way Gaming celebrate the beautiful dice players handpick for their games and splendor. SD Way Gaming has expanded to include many tabletop gaming varieties, accessories, and similar fun necessities to include a service for your dice addiction. You can shop for a variety of products at sdwaygaming.com or find SD Way Gaming on Facebook. Welcome to Red Dirt D&D. I'm Michael Cross, and I play Elias Stone, a human cleric.
I'm Connor Shenold. I play Sable, a half-elf rogue.
I'm Johnny Payne, and I play August E. Graymore, a human fighter.
I'm Carrie Hester, and I play Moxie, a tiefling bard.
And I'm Brooke Bullock, your DM. Please join us as we explore the curse of the Clockwork City. Our party has once again split, with Dr. Elias and a disguised Sable going to visit Iris Stonecipher. Meanwhile, across town, getting ready to leave the Siren Song, we have Moxie and August E. Graymore headed out to go visit an old friend of the former city guardsman.
So I'm behind the bar, looking at the shelf of bottles. Moxie, are you ready?
Of course.
I'm going to need you to put... He's moving his finger across the labels. This, he pulls a bottle of whiskey off the shelf, on my tab. It'll help.
Your tab's getting pretty hefty.
Yeah?
Sure, let me leave this note for Aria, just in case we're out for a while. Let's go.
He honestly is just down the street and around the corner from the Siren.
Oh, very interesting.
This guy is, he's a talker. He talks a lot, and he says things, and he's one of those people who... Has anyone ever said to you, you don't have to say every word that comes to your head? Because they've said to him a lot. Here we are. And I will do the knock.
The long pause, and you kind of hear like a shuffle step.
City Guard, open up. We know you're in there.
And then it stops.
Surrender now.
I bribed you guys last week.
I ran out, I need more.
I'm telling you, the women in your life are gonna suck you dry.
I'm gonna pull that leg off you and beat you over the head with it if you don't open this door.
I'm gonna finally crack your head open and find out if there's any gray matter in there, Graymore. And then you hear click, 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 click. And the door opens up. A guy kind of, not stumbles out, but he definitely like lurches forward and just immediately like slams into you to give you a big hug.
Yeah, I'll hug him and I'll push him. Are you drunk already?
No, it's balance. I'm getting used to.
Then here, and I'll push the bottle into his chest as I push past him and go in the door.
Graymore.
Logan, Moxie, Logan.
Oh, hey, you're pink.
Logan.
Yeah.
You can't just say somebody's pink.
But she is.
I've noticed.
Oh, okay, that's good. So no, it wasn't an accident or nothing.
It's not a new condition.
Okay.
Yes, she is pink. And you have not done anything different to the place since I've seen it last time.
No. I mean, it works just fine the way it is. Like it a lot. Come with me to the kitchen. Moxie, find a seat. Anywhere is fine. There's like 3 chairs at one table. Like that's about the only seating in this little apartment place.
This will be the first time all 3 chairs have been filled in years.
Oh, he looks at the what? Graymore.
Well,
oh, you do care.
It cost me a lot, so sip it slowly.
Okay.
He didn't spend a dime on that. Don't let him think you did. That's my booze.
He knows.
He lowers his voice just a little bit as you guys step into like the little kitchenette area. whiskey and a woman. Nicely done, friend.
Well, you know me and my wily ways with women.
Yeah.
I will sit down across from him, and before I do, I pull the gloves out of my belt, and I sit them on the table in front of me, and I stroke them with my hand and say, I'm actually here to ask you some questions about something. And this is a sign to him.
Yes, there is a definite change. You feel the weight a little bit in the room, Moxie, just a little bit. And he says, still owe you for that.
I know.
Then he looks at Moxie. I'm chasing a guy. We're running through the streets, up the staircase into the clock tower. Everything's going great. Now, wait a minute. Don't you go anywhere. Yeah, there. Yeah, good job. And as you bring it to the table, he pours you a cup. And then we've got him right within my sights. And what does this blankety blank do? He swings and cuts the stabilizing rope on the gears of the clock. This thing swings right into me, pins my leg against the wall. And what does he do? Laughs as he tumbles on out. I'm laying there, leg crushed, bleeding out, that stupid bell ringing and ringing and ringing and ringing. And then this guy drags me out.
Well, most of you.
Yes. I still say you could have just wrapped it in leather straps and it would have been fine.
Rub some dirt on it.
Yes.
Okay, yes.
Would have been all right, but
Well, it is sort of your leg that we are here to talk to you about.
well, you can't have it. I'm using it.
Well, Moxie, let's go.
Wait, you haven't finished your drink yet. Oh, here, lady. And he pours you one too. Still have the gloves.
Always.
It's might peculiar.
I earned them.
I'm just surprised she let you keep them.
Well, I don't know if I'd say let, but here I am with them.
Yeah, and I don't know if I'd say surprised. The damn spear of Kitsune, the way that Reynard family screwed you over. And what was the Galdrum, the woman,
Yes.
lion?
Sweet Laura Goldrum. Look at Moxie. They were not happy with the way that I would not play their game with them. So, why this is all I have left. I'll pick the gloves up and set them back down again.
Makes a lot of people up there flaming mad that Commander Croft let you keep those gloves.
A few have tried to take them from me
Really?
since I left. Oh, yes.
I'd imagine that didn't work out.
It did not.
I see. I hear there's sharks down at the dock. You could feed them there.
I wouldn't know anything about that. Sip, sip, sip the whiskey.
So they say. Well, anyway, I've got a pension. He doesn't.
There are sharks. And the sharks are being fed well.
I see.
Yes. They were using children for bait for the sharks.
Well, now you're not making any sense.
They were feeding the shark the arms of children,
Whoa.
leaving the children with only one arm. So he looks at his leg, and we need some insight on anyone who works in prosthetics.
Yeah, Stone Cipher did this. In fact, and he tinks his leg, I have an upgrade just recently.
Oh, what makes it new? What makes it upgraded?
It runs on ether. And he stands up and starts unbuckling his belt and just drops his drawers, right? And has this shiny, bronze, coppery wired prosthetic leg that is from about mid-thigh down. And you notice that it has a couple of copper tubes that have like a little window in the side of them, and then other coppery tubes that run off of it. And there's a little swirly mist that you can vaguely see inside the tube. Ha! This one runs on ether. No more winding up the clock springs for me.
Moxie will down her drink, look away from this man and his pantslessness. That looks quite complicated. That must have cost you a pretty penny.
Oh, here's the best part. I got it on experimental.
Oh.
You don't say.
Yeah.
Would you mind pulling your pants back up? You're going to make the lady blush.
Well, do you want to see how it works? I mean, the leg.
Yes, I want to see how it works.
So normally, you gotta clock spring him up and tighten him up, right? And then like this, and then he stands up and his pants are down around his knees or whatever. Normally it's just like hip motion, right? Where you gotta like swing your hip and fling it around. But with this ether powered thing, not only is it easier to adjust the tension level, like how, if I wanna run or if I wanna move the knee part, bend it up and down, but also it's pretty quiet and silent. And he then pulls his pants back up and starts taking steps, and you can just barely hear like a...
That does sound like quite the upgrade. Why did it take you so long to get to the door?
well, had to put it on.
Oh, right. So, what do you know of this Dr.
Stonecipher.
Stonecipher?
Oh
yes.
man, she's brilliant, cute too. Just loves to talk about. She'll talk for days about prosthetics.
Does she?
Oh yeah, on and on.
Oh, that's pretty nifty. Would you say, hypothetically, that if you wanted to, you could, like, jump really high or kick something really hard?
Now that you can do. With just the one leg, I don't know if I could jump any higher. Might throw me off kilter. But yeah, kind of like steam power, only ether is so much more compact. We don't need a big old volume of it. But yeah.
If you let it build up, it produces more power.
You know, ether's quite volatile. What if you took a hit in that thing?
Yes, she's right. What if a fireball went off right beside you?
Yeah, no, well, if it was just like cracked or whatever, it'd just probably seep out, But if it was damaged quickly like that, I imagine it would be quite flammable.
Damaged. So this was given to you on an experimental basis to just try out. Did she tell you if this becomes damaged, you could bring it in for repairs?
Well, so far I haven't had to, but, I've tested it a little bit.
It seems like a lot of money went into this. I wonder who's paying for all this research.
Oh, you seen that hospital? It's real big. It's all fancy. They probably got some type of funding.
Do they got you coming in and doing, like, tests and stuff, though? Or do they just, like, have you write a letter?
Yeah, no, I'm scheduled to come back in. I'm supposed to, first it was just for a week or so, but then it was keep it for a month, let it have some wear and tear. If you have any issues, come in.
So this doctor, she seemed very enthusiastic about her work.
Yeah.
Her profession, very passionate about it. You being such a great judge of character, I need your honest opinion. He strokes his glove. Would you say she's on the up and up?
And you see that the tone changes again. He's like, yeah, she's a great gal, Graymore. Seems to really care about people.
Tell us about this leg. How are you supposed to be testing it besides sitting in here all day?
Well, go out, do things, walk, give it a run, see if I can interact with it well. Is it easier to move in than the step hip rotate of the other one? It's almost, they haven't got it quite figured out just yet, but it's very sensitive to the musculature of the appendage it attaches to. I still have to flex and tweak and tense up muscles, but it'll react to that.
Can I do maybe an arcana? See how magic-y this is? Only a 7.
It seems like it's have to be some type of fusing of mundane and arcane, but you don't really have any idea of how that would work.
Now, Logan, don't get too excited about this next question.
Yeah.
I need you to take your pants back off.
You did find a good one. I tell you, just with one glass, too. Cheap and easy, just like you like him, Logan. And he's smiling really big. He knows
right,
totally.
It's all a big joke.
Yeah. Totally just big cop talk. He does. He shimmies out of one pant leg completely, leaving the other on, and then walks over close to you, sticks his leg out, then throws it up on top of the table, lifts it up on top of the table, And
I want to look at the joints and how the joints move and stuff like that, and maybe try to get a closer look, and then maybe try my roll again.
Yeah. Roll again after getting a closer look at it.
Much better. A 16 that time.
Awesome. Yeah. So, as we said before, instead of gears creating tension that you wind up, this is powered almost, if we want to use a modern term, almost like hydraulics, sort of, right? The ether that's in there, this misty vapor that's in there, almost serves like hydraulics and such. And the stub of his thigh, you can see when he flexes, you see an outside muscle move, and then the knee moves, and then you can kind of tell he straightens and lifts the thigh a little bit, like he's tensing the top muscles of his thigh, and it goes out straight.
But it seems more science than magic.
Yeah, so you know that ether itself, well, what do you know about ether?
I don't know.
Yeah, probably roll a d20. Probably intelligence or arcana, either one.
Another 16.
So ether, it comes from the idea of the ethereal plane, like they're sucking mist off of the ethereal plane and using it as a power source. And so it would definitely take a blending of that kind of arcane knowledge with the mechanical everyday. They've basically translated, big steampunk energy into this ether energy, much more compact.
And it seems like a super strong leg. It could pack a wallop if he wanted it to.
Right. I mean, the metal appears to be just a copper-bronze connection there with that, but the ether would possibly superpower it. Yeah, give it a pretty big boost. Make it very, very strong.
Well, thank you for your time, Mr. Logan. You can have your leg back.
Yeah.
Something I didn't think I would say today.
Couple more things though before we go, and he strokes the glove again. Have you heard anything of missing children?
Missing children? No. Why?
Well, that's been happening. There have been some children come up missing. We found several of them at the docks.
Oh,
Horrific thing. We saved as many as we could.
like slave labor down there?
Something like that.
Huh.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I mean, earlier when I was joking about the sharks, there have been stories about an uptick in sharks in the water down there at the docks, but no, I hadn't heard nothing about any children.
Okay. Well, where are you with it then? And the other thing, have you heard any more about Captain's plans or anything?
No, Croft is still concerned a little bit about those above her and below her.
And then there's me.
Yeah,
I'm sure they'll still be quiet for a bit longer.
there's definitely some corruption in the city.
Well, he takes the gloves off the table and sets them on his lap, leans forward and says, my friend, if you really wanted to put that leg through the test, you might take it for a walk, a long walk, across town to the clock. See how it handles all those stairs.
There's a little bit of a shadow that comes across his face. I don't need to see that place again, August.
I see it all the time. He stands up, puts the gloves back in his belt. Keep the bottle. Enjoy it.
I'm glad you came around.
I am too.
You gonna keep this one with you?
As long as she'll keep me.
He ain't worth it.
Listen to him.
But if you get bored, you should come back and, see me take my pants off again.
I know where you live, Mr. Logan.
For a good time. You remember how to get back here, right? All right, I've started walking over to the door.
Stupid clock tower.
This one feels loose, and I rattle one of the 8 locks.
Hey, there's a system here. And he gets up and walks over, and you guys hear the...
I'll see you soon, Logan.
All right.
So, that was my friend Logan Mitchell. He served with me on the guard until he didn't.
Seems like you've got a few friends and ex-friends in the guard.
Well, I use the term friends loosely. I'd say I've made more enemies than friends. I wonder if they're back at the siren song yet. Maybe we should go check.
Here's the thing. I was originally obviously going to ask you about Laura. Logan kind of answered the question, right? Because he alluded to, and I'm just not sure if we're there yet.
August is trying to be like, oh, we're in the middle of doing something. We should go meet our friends, because he doesn't want you to be like, what did he mean by this thing with that?
Right. So it's like you are very. Here's the thing. If August is very closed off and walking forward in a way that's companionable, obviously, but not I want to have a conversation right now, then Moxie would follow that. What's the body language thing, I guess?
So the funny thing about August is he has watched people walk around the corner, see him, and start acting and walking a certain way, but he knows how to not do that. So you're really not sure. Is he casual? Is he going? Can I stop him? Is he rushing me? Is this normal?
Well, I think it's more of
He could be panicking right now, and you might not know.
Is he...
You know what? Let's roll it. Deception versus insight.
A 16.
18.
Oh.
No, this is just whatever. He's just walking along. That doesn't mean you still can't just, start talking to him.
So I think you would still try to make conversation. I mean, you made the joke about...
Sorry about the pants thing. I warned you. I just wasn't expecting that.
You didn't warn me about the fans. You said you were the conversationalist. It seems like you two were close after you saved his life, it sounds like.
Well, that whole day, it's like one life was saved and one life was ruined. Maybe they were both his. Maybe it was one of each.
Oh, well, I guess I don't think we're close enough for you to get this sentimental and deep and professorial.
Yes, I saved him. I ruined him. I later was ruined myself. And here we all are now, trying to save the children of the world.
He makes an excellent point, though. I don't think I've ever seen you bring anybody to the bar. You're just always there by yourself.
I'm just cautious who I let get close. For their sake.
There's close and then there's congenial. You can be congenial without being close.
Yes. You, for example, I don't mind anyone out here seeing the two of us together because you can handle yourself. There's not many who catch my eye who could. Not that you have caught, what I mean. We just know each other.
I think my reputation would be downgraded by being seen with you more than your reputation by being seen with me.
Probably true for a lot of people here. Can I roll to see if she's trying to suss?
I mean, I don't know why not.
Yeah, go for it.
I got a 9.
But I don't think I'm trying to deceive.
No, are you trying to like work around to get some info?
I guess maybe
or-
like
Is this a
just
line
like
of
a
questioning?
straight charisma, maybe? Only a 13 though.
You beat. This is conversation then, as far as he's concerned.
I'm just saying. Bring a girl, make a night of it. Or somebody else doesn't have to be a girl.
Maybe one day. When it's comfortable.
Meanwhile, back at the Iron Spar Infirmary, things have definitely become uncomfortable as Dr. Iris Stonecipher has reached out to study the amputated / missing arm of quote unquote Mr. Winslow. And as she goes to move Winslow's sleeve back from the stub of his arm, she realizes there's an invisible arm or something there, since a hat of disguise doesn't actually morph objects.
As she touches part of the arm that's invisible, that invisible hand reaches out, grabs part of her shirt, pulls her in close as the other hand reaches up and holds a dagger to her throat.
Sable, stop!
Hey,
And
what?
I will ignore Dr. Elias, and to her, it's okay now. We're just gonna have a little bit of a chat. I want you to hear a story, and I want you to give me your best guess on, well, let me just tell it to you first. You agreeable to that?
Well, you know, with all the blood rushing to my ears right now, in panic and stress, if you cut me, the carotid artery right underneath my chin would be the best place, but it's gonna splatter you terribly.
Oh, I know my anatomy.
Why don't I promise to listen, and you promise to put that blade away?
I will ease it up away from her neck, but it is still there. That gonna calm you down enough?
So you have finished that, and then you hear the cock of a crossbow.
I'll glance towards Elias, and I will begin to speak.
She makes eye contact with Elias, and there's just the very subtle imperception of a nod, like it's okay, just let it work. Like she seems, I mean, she's obviously flushed and nervous, but maybe is used to this kind of instability. I don't know. So, but she like let him speak is kind of the eye motion of like, it's okay, we'll work it.
Sable, be very careful about what you do next.
Let's start with a story. How about that? Say there were some bad men living in, let's say, a fishery down by the docks. Let's say every night they'd go and grab some kids from their bed. Take the kids from orphanages, off the streets, even from their own houses. Had them in there for, let's say, about a couple of weeks. And deep down in the depths of that fishery, they had a little scheme going. They'd work with the nobles, they'd work with the city guard to take these kids, feed one of their arms to the reef shop.
See your eyes start to kind of brim a little bit with moisture.
Once those kids were all well and disfigured, they would come to a nice sweet doctor here in town. Would fix them right up with a nice shiny new prosthetic. One that is paid for by a kind, generous benefactor of the Piercing Light Sanctuary.
You see a tear brim over and run down one of her cheeks.
Not only do these kids get fit with a new shiny prosthetic, it's the ether upgrade. Now, I want your guess on why these children need that new shiny upgrade. After I finish that, I will let go of her shirt.
Roll me a perception check.
Okay. 17.
Okay. As you let go and she takes a step back, you also see her lower down a scalpel that she had in her offhand. And presumably it was like down somewhere low. And she says, "You're implying that these children that have been coming to me have been injured on purpose."
There's no implying about it. That story is the facts that we found out just last night.
I don't see why that implies violence on attempted violence for me. Elias, what is going on?
Okay, so you're right. Sable, I know what you're trying to do. And I am going to pull her away. I'm going to say I'm sorry about the subterfuge, but we had to come in and talk to you more than just old friends.
And she looks back at Winslow and says, "Are you implying that I knew? This is..." And the dawn on her face and another, tear start running down her face a little bit, although she doesn't do any motions to clear them from her cheeks. That I would know that they were injuring children on purpose. We're trying to improve their lives.
Well, here's the thing. I know that is what you're trying to do, but we do know these children that you were taking care of were kidnapped. They were taken to a fishery. Their arms were bitten off by a shark, or a couple of dinosaurs named Joanna and Kurt. Now, we couldn't be certain if you knew or not, and that is what Sable was concerned about. And I think you can have me do an insight check if you want, but it's obvious she did not know.
It very much seems like that, yeah. She takes a step back and sits on the corner of the desk.
Sorry again for trying to fool you, but we did have our reasons. I think some of us might have gone a little overboard as I look over at Sable. But now you know what we've been investigating for the past 24 hours since I got here.
This is horrible.
And this is why we need information on your benefactor of these kids.
Again, I was being honest whenever we were talking earlier. Glance over at Winslow and back to Elias. I don't know. I mean, the funding comes from the Piercing Light themselves, but, obviously they say they have a benefactor that's paying for it. Only been 8 or 9 of them, but they go different places afterwards. Some of them go back to the orphanage. Some of them, I don't know. I'd have to look. They do come back in for checkups and such.
When's the next one?
I would have to look in my book, but at first it's a couple weeks after I have them, so just in a few days, the first wave of them will come back.
What other uses is this ether upgrade beneficial for? Obviously, get the workarounds of the key and the cogs.
It's much more efficient. It allows us to put in some divination elements. They sense the muscle motion much easier, so they're much more sensitive to, much easier for people to work and make the accoutrements move. But as I said, one day we want to be able to even connect them not just to the musculature, but to maybe wire back into the willpower of thought. But this is terrible, that it was be done to children on purpose. I will try to find out from the people who is funding it within the Piercing Light. I don't know what account it's coming from, or maybe on the idea that I would like to meet the benefactor themselves to thank them for their work. That's not uncommon. That happens.
Right. That's what I'm hoping for. Now, Sable, are you feeling okay with letting her go to just investigate some of this stuff for us?
She's your friend. That is up to you. However, I would at the very least like her to give, I won't, ma'am, have you deal with me anymore. But if you could, during one of the kids' next checkups, talk to the children maybe, see how they're actively putting these new prosthetics to use, and see if there's any unusual wear and tear on these prosthetics. You know your field better than I do.
Well, yes.
But any suspicious information, turn it over to Dr. Stone.
You can send any information to the Siren Song. You know the Siren Song, right?
I think I've heard of it.
Right. It's just a tavern down near the docks.
You should consider alternative means of housing. Best not to involve the Siren Song too much.
Sable, if you're done, I would like to talk to Iris alone.
I'll leave y'all to it, and I will stow my dagger away. Give not necessarily an apologetic nod, but kind of an acknowledging nod to Dr. Stonecipher, and head out of the room.
With a little bit of respect, she did have a scalpel right there. So as Sable leaves, I say, Iris, listen, I'm really, really sorry. I did not know it was going to go this far. When we found those children, if you had seen, these are children who were our age when we were in the orphanage. As far as I was concerned, I'd do anything to make sure they were safe. And when I was here seeing one of the children at the illuminated light was hanging by a pulley system, being lowered in to be have his arm bitten off by a shark.
And until this moment, she's just been staring daggers at you. And you can see the betrayal on her face of what's happened. But as you start to describe the intensity of that moment, her face begins to soften a little bit, and that compassion, emotion starts to come back onto it as you say they were being lowered.
And so we needed to find any information we could. And so desperate times called for desperate measures, and I'm really sorry for having to do this. But now you understand the kind of stress we're under trying to find out what's going on. We just had to be sure, and now I know I can trust you to get us the information that we need.
Her face softens, she glances toward the door where Winslow slipped out. What you said makes sense. She understands what's going on. Did that man lose any children of his own? Is that why he had such a violent reaction? I mean, by the spear.
No, but we were up very late last night trying to save these children. And I think for all of us, not just him, but myself and two of my companions also, it was hard for all of us. And so I think we are trying as hard as we can to make sure that no one else gets injured. Fortunately, all of the children were saved who had been kidnapped. And I don't think any more will be coming to you. But any new information you can get to us would really be helpful.
I will do my best. If there is that kind of behavior that is happening, then I'm with you. We'll find out what's going on and what the purpose of maiming these children might be, and who the benefactor is. Maybe that will give us some type of leeway. But Elias, don't ever bring that man back to my hospital again unless he needs services.
You will never see him again.
And you be careful too. And she pauses because it seems so blatantly obvious, but there's instability in him. There may be a pain deep inside for to have a reaction like that.
By this time, I've put away my crossbow and I start to walk to the door. And I say, look, Iris, you're going to be making some inquiries with some people who are very, very dangerous. So whatever you do, be careful and watch your step.
You know I will, but I understand. I'm fairly well liked here at Iron Spire, I think. I do good work and service. Not that anybody is irreplaceable, but I think if anybody tried to cause trouble for me or have me disappear, I think it would be pretty bright light as people started to look around.
It was good to see you again, Iris.
It was good to see you too. I'm still a little bit shaken, but it was good to see you too.
If you need me, you can get in touch with me at the Siren Song.
Okay.
And I'll leave you. And I meet up with Sable in the hall, and I say, Sable, please, don't ever do that again. Red Dirt D&D Curse of the Clockwork City is Brooke Bullock as our Dungeon Master, Kiri Hester as Moxie, Connor Shenold as Sable, Johnny Payne as August E. Graymore, and I'm Michael Cross as Dr. Elias Stone. Our theme music comes from Ovani Sound. Our sound effects and additional music courtesy of Jeffrey McBride, Monument Studios, Describe.com, and TabletopAudio.com. Dice for the Red Dirt D&D cast provided by ST Way Gaming. You can find us at reddirtdnd.com. If you are enjoying Red Dirt D&D, make sure to subscribe, rate us, and leave a comment. Also, tell your friends about Red Dirt D&D. You can also support the show at patreon.com/reddirtdnd at whatever giving level works best for you. Join us next time as we discover more secrets in the Clockwork City.